Oh, nice.
So great to have you in the sacred hall of it.
Good morning, everyone. Welcome to my tiny home in northern Minnesota. This tiny home is 20 feet by 12 feet. We're on just under 2 acres, but we do have a lake lot, which you might be able to see behind me. So if you haven't seen part 1 of this series and you're interested, you can go back and take a look. There I outlined the beginning of the process, how we started and got to building this. This weekend, I'm up here alone, which doesn't happen very often. I think this is only the second time I've ever been up here by myself in 3 years. So a little different, but I'm hoping I can get a lot of work done while I'm here. So if you hadn't seen part 1, I will give you a little tour and then I'll show you what we're working on this weekend. So here is the front door, and you can see the camper that we stayed in while we built the tiny home, or while we built the first part of the tiny home. And so the door comes in. Immediately to the right, there will be a closet here eventually, then a fridge, a ladder that leads to the kids' loft, and on the other side, this will be a kitchen. The sink will be centered on the window. We'll have a wood stove here for heat. We'll have a long breakfast bar, countertop area to eat and sit out and look outside. So you'll just be able to sit on one side of it, but there'll be 4 stools, enough for everyone in my family, and we can look outside while we eat. It's a pretty nice view. And this is kind of our front yard, if you want to call it that. It's where we spend most of our time. So if we swing around over here, eventually this will be mine and Abby's bed. And this will be the bathroom with a composting toilet. And then up top is the kids' loft, which is kind of where we're staying right now. So this weekend's project is electrical. You probably already saw it in the background, but we already have the electrical panel in, which is trenched to our power pole in the yard. And I have two circuits run on it so far. The first one was the 10 gauge wire that goes up to the electric heater, which will not be our primary source of heat. The wood stove will be, but we knew it was going to be a while before we got that, so we wanted to install that to use right away, and also for backup heat. It's always good to have at least 2 different sources of heat. So we have the electric heater, and the other circuit run so far is just some receptacles and some lights here in our bed area and in the bathroom. And so my goal for this weekend is to essentially finish all the electrical. I have a full plan of the electrical plan that I want to do, with every circuit labeled on where they're going to go, and so that no circuit's overloaded and we have enough circuits for everything. But the first step to do is to clean out some of the areas so we can access the walls. If anyone has lived where they worked before, it kind of becomes a hassle. So probably spend the first part here clearing some space. I think we're going to start in this corner where the panel is and then kind of go clockwise around the tiny house. And the reason for that being is that, and it's hard to see, but right here there's 4 or 5 studs, so I don't want to drill through all of those. It'd be very difficult to fish cable through there. So any of the wire that's going to be on this wall will be run all the way around. So we'll start here. There's a couple more receptacles down here that I need to do, and we'll start running wire and getting all the receptacles and lights, fan boxes, things like that. So stick around and watch the project. This is going to be a new circuit, and so what this is for is going to be for our mini split that we're going to install eventually. And so the electrical box will be on the outside, right here. And so I'll get the electrical put right here, get that put in the box, then the circuit will be done. So I probably should have prefaced this earlier, as I am not an electrician. I spent a lot of time reading how to do electrical code. In Minnesota, you are able to do your own electrical, but maybe not in every state or every jurisdiction. So make sure you know the rules for your location. And also, don't do anything that you don't feel comfortable with. I've done several electrical jobs of installing sub panels in my own house, rewiring a kitchen. So I'm very familiar with how to do this. So I would not suggest doing it if you're not. Just wanted to throw that out there. So this will be another outdoor receptacle, and so this will be run from here. So run from that corner down here, and then we'll tie into here. So I still need to run into that. You might be wondering why 5 switches. It does seem like a lot for such a small house. But so what it's going to be is the first switch is going to be the main lights up on the ceiling, the main recess lights. The second switch, there's going to be 2 fans in the main area, and it'll be for the 2 fans. The third switch, I'm trying to think about how I want to do the order, but then the third switch could be lights under here by the closet in the fridge. So there'll be 2 lights there, recessed lights. The next light will be a outside wall sconce outside, and the next switch will be soffit lighting that goes all the way around the tiny home. So lots of lights. I like electrical and I like lights. There's going to be a lot in here. Some people might say it's overkill, like my wife, but that's okay with me. Now we got that box in. There's a receptacle that goes a little below it, and that way we can start running the cables to the receptacle to those switches. And that's what we'll go for now. One other thing I forgot to mention. So you saw me notch out this stud here so that this switch box could fit. This stud is not a stud for the full wall. It is just support for the loft. So I made sure, so this is the 16-inch on center from here to here. And this one, these are all added for loft support. And so this is gonna be plenty strong. I'm not too worried about it, just so you know. This is a dedicated circuit for the fridge. So it's a 15 amp, 14 gauge, which is allowed as long as it's a dedicated circuit to one appliance, which it is. Well, I did a few things off camera. I'll show you what I did. It wasn't a lot. I got the outside light power cable and the inside light power cable run. So we have the outside lights and the inside lights, and they run the same track as all of them. And here's the inside lights and the outside lights. So this is the power. It'll be 2 switches off the outside lights for the sconce and the soffit lighting, and 2 off of the inside lights, which will be the main lighting as well as the fans. I also drilled some more holes so we can run more cable and swept up a little bit, because soon we're going to be getting to this wall, drilling holes, installing boxes, and so we need to move all this stuff. And so I cleaned up over here so we can move the stuff there. So I'm gonna get this wired so we can put stuff in front of it. We won't need to get at it again. And then we're gonna run the wire from this box, cable from this box, to a switch, and a switch to some overhead lights right here. And then also a cable from there that'll go around to the kitchen. So we'll get that stuff done in this corner of the tiny house, so then we can put all the stuff here and move on to the next corner. So continue watching. Well, these are a little long, so trim these back. So you always wire the ground first, then neutral, and then not. They say not to use power tools with this, but I see people, electricians, doing it all the time, so just heavy duty. Alright, the receptacle is done. Just have to wire it at the box, and that circuit will be completely done. It's just the one dedicated circuit. So now we want to determine where the 2 lights under here are going to go. And so, as I mentioned, there's going to be a closet, which is going to be, most closets are 24 inches that come out. 27 and a half right here. So the camera died about, I don't know, an hour and a half, maybe 2 hours ago, but I was just pulling wire the whole time, so I didn't feel the need to film everything. So I'll show you what we're done. So you can see the panel. There's more circuits in, and so we got the two far circuits cables pulled at least to their first devices. So it runs through this line, the last two circuits that is, run through this line here, over the door, down, and over. This is going to be the water heater under the sink, and this is a kitchen receptacle, and it'll also be some more receptacles down at the breakfast bar. That was very difficult to pull those that far, so shout out to any electricians that may watch this. That's tough work. I'm pretty tired, but we're gonna keep going. I want to try to get as much done tonight as we can. So what I really want to do is I really want to get this wall kind of buttoned up. That way, if it's done, we can put everything back. We can put the kitchen back where it was. We can put the dog's bed back up, and we don't have to mess with that anymore. Let's get to work. Good morning, everyone. It's a new day. Last night, Pam and I slept on some mattresses on the ground here. Usually we sleep up in the loft, but it was cold and I didn't know if she was gonna get cold. So we slept together. We had the heated mattress pad. So with that, we stayed plenty warm, but I don't know if you can see our breath. So it's pretty chilly in here. The heater is never turned off. It says 70 degrees, but that's up near the ceiling. Down here, I don't know if it's 40, 50 degrees, something like that. The water didn't freeze, so it's above freezing. But last night I spent some time doing some more electrical. I didn't film it because I didn't really expect to get as much done as I did. I was just kind of putzing around getting things done. But I'll show you what I got done. So everything in here is buttoned up, obviously, except for the switches. We have this light here, which is nice. Have light on a switch. This receptacle's in and working. This switch will go to the window sconces or kitchen sink sconces, whatever you want to call it. The cables run, but we don't have the boxes to install those. The water heater dedicated circuit is hooked up in the panel. We have the fridge running off that right now, so that's all done. We have this receptacle in, but this circuit is not complete because then it goes from there down to here, up to here, which will be a switch and a receptacle. This switch will go to pendant lights above the breakfast bar. We do have those boxes, so I hope to get those installed today. Receptacle down here and a receptacle right here. And the breakfast bar will be right about here. So this will be under, these will be above. These will have USB plugins for charging your phone, things like that. What else? The panel. You can see I got some of the breakers installed. We have this one off because that's the one that we're still going to be working on, so we don't want that live. This is the water heater, kitchen, fridge, kitchen. This is a receptacle for this area. So it's about 9:30 right now, and it's a 3-hour drive home. I don't want to get home super late, so I only plan on working a couple hours today. My hope and plan is to kind of get this wall done. So run these, put all the devices in, run the cable up there, and get those boxes installed. I was really hoping to get everything done today, or this weekend I should say, so it's disappointing that I won't be. But I need to curb my expectations sometimes, I think. So after that, the next time we come up, the things left to do for electrical will be the lights and the fan, the outdoor lights, and the loft area, like receptacles. Excuse me, that might sound like a lot, but we already have the power run to the switches for all the interior and exterior lights. So it's just running cables from here. And so it's really not gonna be that bad. And there'll be one more circuit, and that'll be the loft circuit. As well as the loft circuit will be tied into this box here. Again, this will be a closet area, and this is where our router is gonna be plugged in. There's probably a lot of people thinking, oh, at a cabin or a tiny house, why do you want Wi-Fi? Well, I don't. But other family members do want Wi-Fi, and if it gets them to come out, then it gets me to come out. So that's okay with me. So let's get as much done as we can today. Hopefully we get that done, and then, so let's get to work. So all the cables ran. The boxes are installed up there. So I'm just going to wire the devices in, and I believe that's going to be it for today. These still probably take me a little while. Some of the cables with 3 cables in them, and they're 12 gauge, takes me a little time. So we'll get that done, and then we'll catch you up before we go. We got all the devices installed on that circuit. So the switch will run, looks like the pendant lights above the breakfast bar, receptacle there, receptacle there, receptacle there. I tested them all with my tester. Everything is working properly. So I'm gonna call that good for a weekend. It was a really long day yesterday and I still got the 3-hour drive home. So I'm gonna call it there. I'm going to clean up, pack up, and head out. And just like that, the weekend was over. I didn't achieve my goal of finishing all the electrical in one weekend. I have a habit of underestimating how long things take, but I think that's because there's so many things I want to do and want to accomplish. My family and I will be up again in a couple of weeks, and I hope to complete the electrical then. If you have any questions on the build, please leave a comment. I appreciate everyone who takes the time to watch, and as always, until next time.